Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will read chapter 22, page 100, the Mughals, page 101, page 102, and page 103. Dear student, in this chapter the focus is on six main rulers of the Mughal Empire: Babur, the founder, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. In the previous lecture, we studied about the Babur, Humayun, and right now we are going to discuss about the Akbar, Jahangir, and the Shah Jahan. The one that is left we will discuss in our third lecture. So the first we have is the Akbar the Great. Akbar full name is Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, popularly known as Akbar. Literally, the meaning is great. He was born on 14 October 1548, also known as Akbar the Great or Akbar. He was Mughal emperor from 1556 until his death. He was the third and one of the greatest ruler of the Mughal dynasty in India. In 1556, Humayun died just months after retaking Delhi from Sher Shah Suri. Akbar ascended the Mughal throne at the age of 13 and became Shahanshah, king of the kings. His guardian was Bairam Khan, his childhood guardian and an outstanding warrior. At the time of his accession, from all sides. Beyond Agra, the Afghans were still strong and wanted to capture the throne of Delhi. Adil Shah, the nephew of Sher Shah, controlled the area from Chunar to the border of Bengal. The greatest threat was from Himu. The minister of Adil Shah was Himu, as I told you, who was strengthening his power day by day. On the other hand, the Rajputs too had strengthened their position and wanted to oust the Mughals from India. However, Akbar rose to the occasions and solved his problems that was facing from the four corners of the subcontinent. Now, this is a picture of the second battle of the Panipat. The first battle was fought between the Ibrahim Lodi and the Babur at the same place of Panipat, and the second battle was between the Akbar and the Himu, the journal of the Adil Shah. Now I am telling you the points of the Panipat battle too. In 1556 century, the Mughal forces clashed with the Afghan forces led by the chief minister and the general of Adil Shah, Himu. He defeated the Mughals near Delhi and occupied the city. But before he could consolidate his position, Mughal forces under Bairam Khan marched into Delhi. The Afghan army was defeated, Himu was captured and killed. The second battle of the Panipat crushed the Afghan power and removed the threat to Akbar's throne. Bairam Khan reoccupied Agra and Delhi. Agra became the capital of Mughal Empire during the time period of Akbar. Now, this is the map of the subcontinent during the time period of Akbar. The yellow color showed area are those areas which are captured by the Akbar, and the orange colored areas are those areas which were going to be captured during the time period of Aurangzeb. This is again the picture of the subcontinent. You can see the location of the Agra and the Delhi, which is very near to from Pakistan. Now, administration. One of the significant contributions of Akbar reign was the establishment of an efficient administrative system. Akbar gave the Mughal India one official language, Persian, a uniform administrative system. Akbar administrative system can be grouped under two heads: central administration and the provincial administration. Now, some military reforms. The system of branding horses and maintaining a descriptive roll of soldiers were adopted by Akbar. He also maintained corps of royal bodyguard and a large number of war elephants and a well organized army. Is that clear? Now, trade. The trade was another source of income, though much less is compared to the land. The main components of export were spices, indigo, textiles, and the scepters. India traded with China, Central Asia, and the Europe. So these were the three main areas of the world with which the subcontinent started trading. The Portuguese established trade center on the western coast during Akbar's time period. Now, Dini Ilahi, a very interesting thing about Akbar was the Dini Ilahi, that was a combination of many religions, including Hinduism and Zoroastrianism as well. The comparative study of the different religions at the Ibadat Khana led Akbar to form the Dini Ilahi, meaning divine faith. The new faith included the good points of all religion. It believed in one supreme God. The basic purpose of the formation of Deen-e Ilahi was Sulh Kul or universal harmony. The idea of tolerance in this faith did not discriminate between people of different religion, but the Muslims of the subcontinent at that time highly objected this religion introduced by the Deen-e Ilahi, introduced by the Akbar, which name was the Deen-e Ilahi. Some social and educational reforms. Akbar introduced a number of social and educational reforms. Like in the sector of education, he revised the educational syllabus and laid more stress on moral education and on secular subjects rather than on religion and theology. He set up a translation departments for translating works in Sanskrit, Arabic, and Greek. Some social reforms. He abolished sati and legalized widow remarriages, that was for the betterments of the Hindus. Especially, he raised the age of marriages to 14 for girls and 16 for boys. He restricted the sale of the wine and spirits. So these were the social reforms of the Akbar. Cultural achievements. Akbar was a patron of art and literature. He encouraged the study of astronomy, mathematics, logic, and history. He could understand the fine points of poetry, art, religion, and the philosophy. There is some paintings of the Mughals during the time period of Akbar, some Mughal literature, and these are the buildings which were built during the time period of the Akbar. So, the picture of Fatehpur Sikri, that is the near Agra. Akbar's greatest architectural achievement was the construction of Fatehpur Sikri, his capital city near the Agra. So, this was all about the Akbar. The last days of Akbar were spent in grief. His two sons Murad and Danial died. His only surviving son Salim rebelled against him. However, shortly before his death in 1605, Akbar himself nominated Salim as his successor. So this was all about Akbar. Now we have Jahangir. Real name Muhammad Sultan Salim. He took the title Nuruddin Jahangir. He was well educated, fond of literature and paintings. He cared about the welfare of his subjects. He was 22 years old when he got the throne. Before Jahangir took the throne, the Europeans had already arrived in India. Initially, Jahangir was liberal with the Portuguese and granted them trade concession, but the Portuguese indulged in piracy and attacked Mughal ships. Jahangir then refused the permission on trade with them. The English East India Company was established by the British traders, succeeded in obtaining trade concession. They also got permission to set up factory at Surat that was in the subcontinent. The factory name was the East India Company. So after Portuguese, the Britishers from the England started to trade in the subcontinent. Now I am telling you some interesting thing about the Jahangir's wife Noor Jahan, which actual name was the Merunissa. Okay, so his real name was Merunissa. We call her Noor Jahan, but his real name is the Noor Jahan, but his real name is the Merunissa. Okay. In 1616, she was honored with the title of the Noor Jahan, which meaning is the light of the world. She was a beautiful, strong, witty, well-educated, and a charismatic woman. In 1616, as I told you, she got the title of the Noor Jahan. She would advise Jahangir on state matters and administration. When Jahangir fell ill and later became addicted to wine, she got her family members appointed for higher posts. Prince Khurram rose in revolt against Noor Jahan and Jahangir. The last 16 years of Jahangir's administration was in Noor Jahan's hand. After Jahangir's death, Khurram took over the throne while Noor Jahan retired from court life. Jahangir died in 1627 in Rajapuri, Kashmir. Is that clear? So this was all about the Jahangir. At the time of the Jahangir, the subcontinent was the most cultured place of the world, as both Jahangir and Noor Jahan were the great patrons of art, literature and culture. Now we have the Emperor Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan full name was Shahabuddin Muhammad Khurram, the emperor of the Mughal Empire in South Asia from 1628 until 1658. The real name of Shah Jahan, as I told you, was Muhammad Khurram. Shah Jahan comes from the Persian. The word Shah Jahan comes from the Persian, meaning ruler of the world. Okay, at a young age, he was chosen as successor to the Mughal throne after the death of his father, Emperor Jahangir. His reign has been one of the most prosperous ages of the Indian civilization. Now, some interesting thing about Shah Jahan kingdoms. Shah Jahan's reign was notable for its military success against states in the southern India. So that is a picture of the subcontinent during the time period of the Shah Jahan. All the pink colored area is the area under the Akbar, and the blue colored area is the area under the Shah Jahan, which was captured during the time period of the Shah Jahan. That is the map of the subcontinent during the time period of Shah Jahan. Okay, architect Shah Jahan perfected Mughal architecture. He had the Taj Mahal built as a tomb for his favorite wife. Shah Jahan established Delhi as his capital and built there the famous Red Fort, which contained the imperial Mughal palace. Now there are some buildings picture which were built during the time period of Shah Jahan. That's why Shah Jahan is known as the builder of the Mughal empire, like Agra Fort, Pearl Fort, Shalimar Garden, Lahore Fort, and Shah Jahan Mosque, Jahangir Mausoleums, and the Taj Mahal. That is a picture of his wife Mumtaz Mahal, painting actually for whom he built the Taj Mahal. As you know that it is known as the it is one of the seven wonder of the world, and that Taj Mahal he built in the memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. Did you know the peacock throne on which Shah Jahan sat in his darbar was covered by the rubies, emeralds, and the diamond, which were the very precious stored nowadays as well? So, how he died? One of the Shah Jahan's sons, Aurangzeb, took over his throne. He was imprisoned and confined to the Agra fort for 8 years, where he spent his last 8 years of his life. During this time, he fell very ill. On January 31st, 1666, Shah Jahan died. So this was all about your today's lecture. Now I am giving you home task. Read page 101, 102 and 103. Now you have three questions which you have to do in your rough notebook. When and where was Akbar born? Just mention the date and the place. Write a short note on Jahangir. You have to write at least 4 to 5 points about Jahangir. And the very easy question, who is known as the builder of the Mughal Empire? So this is about your today's home task. I hope you can easily give the answer of these questions. Okay. So we will discuss the rest of the chapter in our third lesson. For that, stay home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.